Okay, what's new? Well, yesterday afternoon, my new lens came. Yeah, the 24-200. And the rollback deals pretty well 100% with that lens. And putting the filter on and talking about the lens. I'm going to put in the bottom of the screen where you can get through this, and we'll get to the place where we try to paint our propellers. Yeah. Life is what happens to you while you're making other plans, and right now this is the way life is happening to me. I'm having a problem getting going here. Oh, I was noticing that the sunrise is coming up earlier now, which is a good sign. That means that we're getting towards the longest day of the year. And no snow. Yeah, I got to deal with that this afternoon. My neighbor wants me to go over and look at a snowblower again. So anyway, let's roll back and get that over with. And like I say, if you want to just jump right ahead to where we start working on the props. Again, I got to find my gold paint. It's over there somewhere. Now it's kind of rattly. Oh, that's kind of surprising. Maybe it's not what I think it is. It's about the right weight and right size. Yep, that's what I thought it was. Yeah, I would have thought they'd have packed it a little better than that. Well, the box looks okay. That looks all right. Let me get this out of here. It's a little bit on the cold side. I think I'm going to let it warm up a bit before we try it out. I don't know, I retrieved it out of the delivery box probably about 30 seconds after he delivered it, maybe a minute. It feels all right. That's nice and smooth and nice and fluid. I can see that once that warms up a bit, it's going to work really good for zooming in. At least that's the plan. And for those of you who are camera buffs and didn't know I was getting this, it goes from 24 millimeter to 200 millimeter. My concern is when it's at 200 millimeter, how close can I get and still be in focus? Well, we'll test it out. We'll test it out this evening. Yeah. Okay, looks good. Yeah, everything looks fine. Maybe we'll put that clear filter on the front of this one. I don't need to worry too much about light being diffracted or whatever you want to call it through the filter because it's coming in at an acute angle. Most of the light will be coming straight in through the filter, so that'll be alright. It'll work good on this lens. Let's get it and put it on. And Thailand Jim, just in case you're watching. Okay, my coffee visitor is going to be here pretty quick, so we don't want to waste too much time here. Oh, I'm seeing a little bit of dust on there. I'm not seeing it now. Let's see if this one will go on as well as it did on the wide angle. Oh, I'm seeing a little bit of dust there. Is that on this side or the other side? Oh, it was on this side. Good. And we'll go backwards until it sort of drops down. There we go. Now a little spot of dust on the filter, if it was on the inside, it would only cause problems if light was refracting on it. Now I see a little piece right there. Is that going to be removed? No. That is on the inside, I believe. Just let me get my little lens brush here. You know what? I better do this later. My coffee visitor is going to be here in about 5 minutes, and I don't even have the coffee pot plugged in, so yeah, we'll see you back at the model table probably about an hour and a half. Okay, my coffee visitor has left, and it's 5 o'clock, and normally the episode is posting at 5 o'clock Winnipeg time, but it's late today. In other words, 10:59 is late. You're watching 10:60 right now. Now, let's zoom in here a bit. Okay, that's about as close as I can get without putting the macro lens on. Now, the piece of dust in question is, now I'm not gonna touch the glass, but it's right there, just off the end of that needle. And I've concluded that it's on the inside of the filter. And there's another one there. So I must have missed those when I was checking the inside of the filter. So I want to get those off, because if I can make the lens, you might say, pristine, it doesn't get dust inside there. At least very, very seldom. These lenses have a bit of a gasket, so that when they breathe in and out, it sort of filters out the dust. At least it's supposed to. Okay, I did go and turn off my alarm, and right now Peter in Oz Scale Modeling is wondering, how come the video's not here? It's always up at 5 o'clock, Winnipeg time. Now, I don't know what time that would be in Australia. I guess that'd be early in the morning. Okay, now, what's going on here? Well, at least it wasn't a flaw in the glass. It was something on the glass. And that other dust I saw was on the front of the lens. I'm seeing something now. It looks like maybe a flaw in the coating. But the light has to hit it just right. Okay, enough fussing here. Let's try this thing out and see if it's going to be effective the way I think it is. And will the lens cap still work? Oh yeah. We're at 24 millimeter, and it seems to have a nice ratio. I've already tried it out. This is not a first time. Okay, I think that's in focus. But how close can we get? I want to be able to do that, you know. I haven't tried it yet. I haven't tried the close-up aspect of it. And from what I understand, it'll go to about half a meter. So let's test it out on part of the ship. Maybe this thing here. Can you see this? Oh yeah. That lighted lifebuoy thing. That's nice and bright and clear. Let's just recompose here and just see what we can do. Okay, here's what's happening. The idea is, and it wouldn't be set up exactly like this, but this is so that you can see what I've got in mind, and that is that the camera can be quite a ways away from the model. You get a nice wide view of the. In other words, you get the perspective really well, and then what I can do is I can zoom in. For instance, we are going to zoom in on that little flotation device, and here we go. Okay, now the camera is quite a ways back, but we're nice and close. And yeah, the camera won't be in its own light. It won't be in my way. It'll be, well, this, if I was working on something, it would be off to the side. Right now the camera's in the way, but that's just so that you can see it for demonstration purposes. Anyway, that's what this lens is all about. I might get, there's a device that you can put on your focusing ring. I think it's called a focus puller or something like that. It's for pulling focus. And some of them are pretty sophisticated. Some of them are actually self-powered, and you can set them so that you can set your focus to a certain thing and it'll stop there. But the same idea can be put on the zoom ring, and then it's a lot easier then to smoothly, you know, instead of pulling focus, you'd be pulling zoom. Anyway, that's what this is all about. By the way, this camera is silent. Now, usually when I'll shut off the camera, you'll hear a beep. That was dubbed in. Yeah, may as well be honest. That beep was dubbed in. But this camera literally is silent. It doesn't click. It doesn't make any noise. When you take a photo with it, there's no shutter slap or mirror slap or anything like that. It's a mirrorless, shutterless camera. Well, it does have a shutter. It's electronic. And anyway, I just suddenly realized that I had been using this camera to pick up the audio, and I shut it off. So it'd be really interesting to see if I can boost the audio in that camera so that you can hear me, because my voice is going and I can't talk very loud. A lot of time, as you can see, has passed since we started out this morning. And I did go over to my neighbor's and we did look at his snowblower, and we concluded that there was nothing we could do. The belt had come off of the drive from where there's two pulleys that come off the drive shaft or the crankshaft on the motor. One drives the transmission that turns the wheels, and the other one goes to a pulley and it drives a pulley that goes out to the auger and impeller and everything on the, that throws the snow. And the one that goes to the impeller and auger, the belt came off, and it's happened before. I think the belt must be just slightly too big, and when the clutch comes back off of it and there's slack, it just comes off the pulley. But right now the belt is really cold. Now, when we were out there earlier, it was about -20. I see it's warmed up now. It's only -16. Anyway, enough about the snowblower. Just let me quit fussing here before I knock everything over, and we'll zoom in. And this is actually going to be the first time that I've zoomed in a practical way. Now, this is what I was hoping is going to work here. Just hang on a second. Okay. Now, my plan is, you probably saw the ultrasonic cleaner there. I'm going to put these metal propellers in the cleaner, try and get all the dirt and grease and everything off of them. And then I'm going to use the X12 here. And this is what we used on the Bismarck propellers, and they look pretty good. I was just looking at them this morning, and I was thinking, yeah, I can live with that. So yeah, let's just do that and try and get something done today. Yeah, fixing that snowblower just did not work out as planned. I don't want to go into a whole bunch of details, but it was just one fiasco after another. Anyway. If you hear something running in the background, it's my microwave in the kitchen. And now I probably could have, filed these down a little bit better, but I think once they're painted, we're not going to be noticing too many flaws. It'd be interesting to see how the ultrasonic sound throws the amplifier in this new camera for a loop. Here we go. Now I can hear it quite clearly. Now the camera, the microphone on the camera is probably back about 16 inches away from this thing. Anyway, just another part of the learning curve with the new camera. One thing that I do find that is radically different is the fact that the focusing ring is not directly connected to anything. It's all done electronically. Yeah, there's a certain amount of latency in it, but I think once I get used to it, I don't know if I'll like it one way or the other. It's just a case of getting used to it. It works, and that's the main thing. Alright, we'll do it this way. What is in here right now is the Iwata airbrush cleaner solution. It's I've mentioned this before. It seems to me that it's just a very strong soap of some kind, but it works well. Okay, I think our isopropyl is evaporated off there now. And I know I did try one of these shafts in a propeller earlier. I think I did it yesterday, but I can't remember if it was a tight fit or a loose fit, and I'm hoping it's going to be a bit of a tight fit. I guess it doesn't matter if I touch the shaft with my fingers. I just don't want to touch the prop with my fingers. Oh, look at, did you see the isopropyl oozing out of there? Okay, well, it probably wouldn't hurt the paint. It's isopropyl sort of water based, isn't it? Well, kinda. Where's one of Tennessee Jim's mini Q-tips here? Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure I got these all. All right, let's try it now. Okay, now I don't want it to fall off. Well, okay, that's not going to work. See, what I wanted to be able to do was to be able to hold onto the shaft and then do the painting. That's going to be all right. It's going to have to be, because that's all I'm going to do. Now, speaking of Tennessee Jim, it reminded me that Jim, you commented yesterday, and you were asking about the comparison test that I was planning on doing between the two cameras. And I printed this out, it must be going on a month or so ago now. And that is when I realized that I was, in all likelihood, going to be getting the Z9. I'll say Z9 for you. I'll say Z9 for my Canadian friends. Anyway, so for the Z9 versus the D850, we were going to do a comparison test to see how much better detail is still visible when there is motion going on. So the idea is, with this thing here, now that I've got my new lens, which is on right now, I'll be able to get this thing the same size on both cameras at the same time, and then in the software I'll put them side by side on the screen. And the idea is that each camera will be aimed at this thing, and I will move it. And the idea is that we should be able to see that these lines do not blur out as bad in the 60 frames per second versus the 30 frames per second. And then there's a couple of other little tests involving 120 frames per second versus 15 frames per second, but we'll talk about that then. Now, tomorrow's episode is going to be a little bit special, and I know people are thinking, oh good, he's going to stop talking about his camera. Nope. It's just going to be a sort of a special day. But we'll have to wait until tomorrow for that. And I'm going to call it quits here. It's almost 1:30, and I have been having a problem, being as that I've been using my laptop to process the video. Sometimes it goes okay, but yesterday it didn't, and consequently yesterday's episode was about 45 minutes late. I don't like it when that happens, although I know it's not the end of the world. So I'm gonna call it quits here, and I'll do the painting of these propellers in tomorrow's rollback, and I'll figure out a way to keep the shaft nice and tight in the hole there. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody, and all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.